This is episode 32. Welcome back, or if you're new, I'm Coach Prez. I'm a football coach whose curiosity extends to the depths of philosophy. And here we discuss everything from sports to these philosophical inquiries that shape and define our lives. All right. So the plan for today, the program that we're gonna follow is we have two questions that I'm gonna answer. The first one is, how do we know that what we're doing and working on is worth it? Okay. The original question is, how does one convince himself slash herself that what they're doing or working on is worth it? I've changed it a bit to, how do you know that what you're doing is worth it? And the second question is, what is the meaning of life? Luckily for me, they are very related topics. So I'm not going to waste any more time. We can jump straight into it. As you can see, I'm dressed for the occasion. I've got the polo t-shirt today because we're discussing serious matter here. All right? No messing around. So let's get into it with the first question. The first question was, how do you know that what you're working on and what you're doing at the moment is worth it? There is multiple angles that you can take to approach this question. We're going to have a look at a couple. Hopefully this clarifies it for you. It is a good question. It is a valid question. A lot of people struggle with this because it's difficult, it's hard. So what we want to make sure that we understand is, if you're actively trying to do sports, okay, keep this in mind. If you're doing sports, you have a limited amount of time. This is essential to the discussion. When you have a limited amount of time, that changes things. And it means that you have to really analyze yourself seriously and evaluate, do I really believe I have the skill? Do I really believe I have the qualities, the attributes, the physical attributes as well to make it? If the answer is no, think about, do you have the time? Okay, do I have enough time to make it happen? If the answer is no, you might want to consider an alternative route. Okay, this is if it's to do with sports. All right, if the pursuit is athletic, where time is of the essence, you need to know, am I good enough or am I not? Okay, from that point, I've done multiple other episodes talking about sport, and if the question is about sport, then be more specific and I can answer. All right, now that this is out of the way, now we continue into absolutely everything else. Okay, what if you mean I'm working on something, on a project, or I'm trying to get into this area, okay, into this line of work. How do I know that this is the one for me? How do I know that what I'm doing is worth my time? Okay. First, think about, is this what I want to do? Okay. Do you know what you want to do? If the answer is no, then we need to think about what do we want to do? All right. My advice is, what are you good at? Always try and evaluate your personality and your characteristics. Do you have any skills? All right. Because by the time you're 20, a lot of people have developed like different skills. See, by the time I was 20, I had developed this skill, football, the ability to play football to a really high level. Okay, so that's just one skill. Some people, they become good at I don't know, playing the guitar. Some people become good with computers. All right. So think about your skill. Do you have any skill that you've developed? If not, think about your personality. This is very important. This is very, 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 very important. I need to stress. I cannot stress this enough. What is your personality? Given your personality can change and will change over time, especially if you want it, if you want to change it. But what is your personality? If you're a very introverted person, picking a job or trying to work on something like become a salesperson, is that the one for you? You can force yourself and become good, but is that the one for you? Fun fact, I've done that job. Yeah, I was a door-to-door, basically salesman, my first year in university. Can you imagine me? Hi, I'm here on behalf of guide dogs. The reason why we're here today. That was the worst job of all time, but I've done it. I've done it. Anyway, but is it me? No, not really. I don't really enjoy that type of stuff. A lot of people, especially on the internet, they start talking, oh, you need to get into sales. That's where the money is, stuff like that. Think about your personality. Is this your personality? So try and pick something that will play to your strengths, because it's going to come more natural to you. I'm a big believer in the idea that you can shape your personality to a very, very large extent. Okay? Whatever you choose to be, you can make yourself this. I believe that. I believe that. I'm an example. There's so many things that I've changed within myself and with, like, in terms of my personality, that is just too many to even say at the moment. We can get into it at a later point. But again, general point, advice, if you want to simplify, if you're taking notes, I don't know. Strengths, okay? You have talent. By talent, I mean ability. And what is your personality? These two are very important when you're picking and deciding, what am I doing? What do I want to do? What am I doing at the moment? Okay? This question is a cousin to the question that you asked. How do you convince yourself that what you're doing is right? So that's one part. Is that where your stance lie in what you're doing at the moment? Next is what you do. Is it aligned with your values? Like what do you value in life? What's important to you? What are your values? Okay? If that's a dumb example, maybe not the best. But if I am, let's say I'm a God-fearing man, blah, blah, blah. I believe in this and I'm a very moral person, let's say. Yeah? Don't take it as if I'm trying to make a mockery out of God and all that stuff. No. Let's say I'm a very moral person, but then I sell drugs. Like, does that go with my values, or I want to become something like this? Not really, you know. So pick something, or if you value, for me, what I value is self-actualization. I don't want to say self-improvement. This is a shit word. I hate it with a passion. I like people getting better. That's what I like. And I believe this is fundamental to us as people. So that I really value this highly. If someone does not want to get better, does not want to improve, okay, is not moving in a positive direction, then that person is most likely moving in a negative direction. All right? So that makes sense. So that's one thing I value. All right, so I don't want to contribute to anything that would move people in that direction backwards, you know. Example, so what are your values? What do you like? Because anything you do, it has to align with your values. Okay, because otherwise, if it doesn't, that's how you get criminals. That's pretty obvious. Next angle. So are you good at it? Does it align with your values? Okay, is what you do, is it valuable to you personally? Do you think it's important? Okay, next, is it meaningful? Does it have meaning to you? Very similar. Do you believe that what you're doing is important? Is it important? Think about this. Because if you don't think that what you're doing is important, or that you can do something with it, if you believe, let's say I start doing something and my mindset is, oh, that doesn't matter, I don't really care about this any, to be honest, but I'm doing it, but what are the chances that you're going to be successful at it and you're going to get somewhere? Very low, highly unlikely. That your attitude is going to suck from before you've started, because you just don't care about it. You don't see it as important. Like, for example, me, with me becoming a musician. First, I'm not a talented musician, It's not really my personality. You need to be more like creative or whatever. Also, do I believe in my heart, is it very meaningful, and do I think it's very important? Not really, I can appreciate good music, yeah, I can. But for me personally, in my point of view, I can see a million things that are kind of more important. So just in my, this is subjective. This is personal to every person. A lot of times I try and bring objectivity to different topics, but at the moment this is a personal question, because you're trying to decide what are you gonna do. Okay, you can do something good to the world, positive, a million different ways. So you've got a choice here to make. What is next? Think about, in the future, you're doing what you're doing. In 5 years' time, what happens in 5 years' time if you stick to it, if you stick with it? What would you think in 5 years? Let's say potentially you haven't really achieved external success. What are you thinking in 5 years' time? It's not really, yeah. Think about this. What about in 10 years' time? Would you regret it? Like, would you say, I shouldn't have done that? Why did I do that? Just think about that question. Think about, you're doing what you're doing. You're doing your best. 5 years, nothing yet. What's the thought process then? Try and put yourself in your future self's shoes. All right? If it doesn't make money, would you still do it? That's a big question. That's one of the simplest ways to actually see whether it's worth it or not, to be honest. If you say, if it didn't make money, would I do it? If the answer is yes, then you found something. You have found something that is worth holding on to. That's a very basic question. I've been talking for 15 minutes almost. Scrap everything I said. Ask yourself this question. Would I do it for free? And if I'm good at it, that's a bonus. So that's a really good question. Ask yourself this. Always ask yourself this. Would I do it for free? Look what I'm doing. Okay, take my example. I'm doing a podcast. It's been over 6 months. No success. Zero. You could make the argument we're doing worse than in the beginning. Would I still do it in a year if it's still the same? Yeah. Okay. So that means to me, that's good. For me, then it's worth it because I would do it without getting anything out of it. I would still do it. And I'm not making money. Okay. I'm just doing something and that's it. Putting my time into it. I'm trying to get better every week. People that have been watching me like for a little while now, if you go back to the first episode and you come back here, I'm a lot more fluid now. Okay, my thoughts are much clearer. I break the problems down much better, although I already had some skill. Yeah, we just, the flow is better. I speak a bit faster, potentially. And yeah, I just keep getting better, bit by bit, bit by bit. And these are some things. So, would you do it for free? And also, the next one, it's all logical. Is it a positive thing? As I said, if you're selling drugs, what are you doing? Is it worth sacrificing all your values that you potentially have as a person just to make money? I don't believe it is. I would never do it personally. No amount of money is worth just don't need to get into this. There is no amount. Why would you want to do something like this that brings is a net negative to society? I'm not a fan of people that are a negative to society overall. You want to bring something positive and something good. All right, and then my final point, because I've spent 17 minutes. Hopefully this has kind of brought some clarity to your question. How do you know it's worth it? Ask yourself all these questions. Go through it. If you want me to give you my personal example, like let's say me as a coach, has it paid off? Not yet. How long have I been at it? How many sacrifices have I made? How many sacrifices? Okay, just listen to this, because I don't care anymore. Listen to this. I left my country. Okay, I left Bulgaria. I came to England because I wanted to be a football coach in 2017. I spent 3 years in university. Okay, because I'm from Bulgaria, I did not get the maintenance loan, which allows you to be a normal student, like get like 10K for the year and live your life. No, I didn't get this because you had to have 5 years in the country prior to your first year of university. I didn't have that. My parents didn't have that because they live in Bulgaria. Okay, so I was not eligible for this. So what did this mean? I had to work. Okay, did I go out in university? No. First, you ask me how many times I went out, which is the experience of everyone else. So university is the best thing here in England. If you're a student, that's like the best time of your life. First year, how many times did I go out? Zero. Not once. Not even out for a coffee once. Not even for a coffee. I didn't have any money. I had to work. I did that shitty door to door. Oh gosh. You know how much they paid? £35 a day. And you worked for 5 hours. And then they wanted you to get sign-ups. Otherwise, you're constantly on like... if you don't get 2 sign-ups every week, at least, they start giving you like warnings that they're gonna fire you. I just couldn't get another job, okay? Forget about the reasons. I'm just giving you a little bit of a story. So that was stressful. I'm in a different country. I've just come here a couple of months ago. I'm all by myself. I don't even have a single friend. Okay. I'm doing this job. I'm trying to do university. In the summer, I need to work. Okay, so I get on site and I work so I can save a bit of money, because with this job, imagine how much money you're making for like working for £35 a day 3 times a week, £100 a week. What are you gonna? I couldn't even pay my rent with this. So I'm constantly thinking, what am I gonna eat? Just all that stress. I don't need to go into too much detail. Then in the summer, instead of no, go and work to save money for the next year. So I've done all this from having a really comfortable life in Bulgaria. Forget about this. Go into this country, now you're at the bottom. Do this. Okay, finish university. Oh, finally, now something's gonna happen. Well, no, it doesn't. COVID. Okay, I can't get a. I thought I was gonna be out of university, boom, straight into a full-time coaching job, blah blah blah. By 27, I'm a first team manager, for example. I remember thinking this when I was like 18. Because 27 seemed like a million years away, an eternity away. Didn't happen. And you start going, maybe it's going to be this year. It's not. Maybe it's going to be next year. It's not. Maybe it's going to be next year. It's not. But you keep pushing. You keep pushing. Do I have the success now? No, not yet. I'm still working. I haven't changed my mind. The goal is still the same. I'm still moving forward. It hasn't come yet. It hasn't come yet. It will come. Why? And that's now I'm getting to the essential bit. Because remember, never forget this bit now that I'm going to say, that next sentence. Anything that you want to do in your life, apart from becoming a professional athlete, which is very difficult, and there's a lot of factors that go into it, and a lot of them are out of your control. Apart from this, and a couple of jobs that like astronaut and a quantum physicist, just a couple of jobs over here, this end, that require IQ of above 160. Okay, but anything else, think anything else in life, anything that you want to do, is absolutely achievable, regardless of your background, regardless of your starting point. Everything else is achievable. Just think about it. If you're willing to not quit and to continuously improve and get better at whatever you've decided to do, first year it doesn't work out, you keep getting better. Second year, you keep getting better, still doesn't work out. Third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth, 10 years in, you've been working on something. You've been getting better for 10 years. Do you know the amount of people that are willing to do this? It's a tiny percentage. So you're ahead. What is going to separate you and what is going to get you where you want to get to, regardless of your starting point, is your refusal to quit and your dedication to what you're doing. So all I want to say now, absolutely anything you want to do is 99.9% possible. Okay? That's it. Remember this. Even if you're not good at something at the minute, you need to adopt the mindset of, what if I work on this for 10 years? And progressively, I keep updating my approach. I keep making sure that my approach is good, okay? Not, I've been training this way for 10 years. Why am I not seeing progress? Well, because you're not changing anything. You're not reviewing what you're doing. You're just doing something. I'm talking about continuous progress, okay? And you put your approach through rigorous testing. we talked about measurement in the last episode. It's very important. I think that concludes the topic. We have executed our plan. But this is it. Your refusal to quit is essentially what is going to get you where you want to get to eventually. All right? So, you just have to decide, is this what you want to do? If you didn't remember anything from this, remember the question, would I do it for free? What would you do for free? If it didn't make you any money, 2 years from now, would you still do it? What are you doing? The answer is yes, then that's the one. But obviously, I would play games for free. Like I would play PlayStation games for free. But then we need to be sensible, we need to be reasonable, ask the other questions. What positive does that bring to society? Is this the best utilization of my talents? What was the point of me being a genius? You see, good looking, amazing athlete, and many other things. If I'm just gonna stay and play games. Is this what I was put here for? Just playing games, smashing people at FIFA? No. I want to do something more. I want to be a coach. Or I want to be a coach. I want to be something more than a coach. I want to be one of the best. I want to be up there. You see? Just keep moving the goalposts. Make sure your goals are just outrageous. And just keep going after. Keep pursuing them. You might end up short of your goals, but just think about how many people you've gone past that had very small goals. You're chasing that big goal, maybe never catch it, but in the process of chasing your big goal, you move past so many people that never even thought about all this. Okay, that's it. Don't quit. Just move forward, and everything. You can do anything, even if you're shit at whatever you're doing now. You can get there with work. All right? Just decide. If you don't know yet, just try different things. See if you don't have any idea. You don't know the answer to the question, what am I good at? I don't know. What is my personality like? I don't know. Well, start reading books and start trying things. Okay? Let me try this job. Let me try that job. Let me try this. Let me try that. Let me try this. Let me try that. Be curious. Try things. Otherwise, you'd never know. You're just guessing. And you can start over analyzing and start freezing. Again, I mentioned this in the last podcast. We talked about this is measurement, so kind of self-reflection and evaluation. All right. So now the heavy hitter. We're about to enter into the discussion that is, you could say, the age-old question. What is the meaning of life? Of course, we're gonna get, if you bring 10 people in here, they're gonna have 10 different answers, probably. I would guess, though, you would have 8 answers would be the same. And they would say, I want to be happy. How many times have we talked about happiness, though? Many. So now, forget about happiness, because I've just talked about it so many times. We're going to break the topic down into your potential answers of that question. All right? We need to start at the foundations. What is the fundamental sections, or not sections, but approaches that we can take? All right. The meaning of life. This is going to come down to what you believe. What is your belief? What are your beliefs about? What are your beliefs about life? Okay? When you die, is that it? Does life end? The answer of this question is gonna, of course, impact heavily your idea of what the meaning of life is. So let's break it down quickly. You could say, okay, what is the meaning of life? Religion is going to tell you the meaning of life is to live a good life in accordance with the word of God. Then when you die, you go to heaven or wherever else, whatever religion you believe in, or you're gonna be reborn, whatever else, whatever the religion says. Okay, so that's the route of religion, which is this. Essentially, most religions, they don't think that that's it. Okay, but now if we look at on the philosophical side and on the scientific, life doesn't have an inherent meaning. There is no one thing that is agreed upon us. That's the meaning of life. Why? Because there is no evidence that anything happens after you die. Okay, that's just religious belief, but no evidence. There is no evidence for it. Zero. And so once you believe that there is nothing after life as you experience it now, then essentially, if you think about it, okay, one day you're gonna die. Yeah, and once you die, that's it. Boom, done, finished. Well, extend that, go further along down that road, and you end up with what? There's gonna come a time eventually that humanity doesn't exist anymore. Let's say even if we move on to another planet and we keep going, we keep existing another 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 years, 100,000 years later, 1,000,000 years later, and then that's it, the end. The universe has, if you have some sort of an understanding of physics, essentially the universe keeps expanding. Sooner or later, as it keeps expanding, the universe is gonna expand so far that everything within it is gonna pull so far apart from each other. Every object in the universe is gonna be spread out so far apart that there is not gonna be any conditions for life, if that makes sense. Now, here I'm talking about millions and millions of years, okay? But we're just talking about just hypothetical here, just logic. So eventually there is not gonna be humans left. That's obvious. We all should accept this. What does that mean? Well, that means like whatever you do, eventually we're all gonna die. Nothing is gonna last forever. We're just here for a brief moment. Okay? So basically nothing matters because we're here for a very brief period of time when we don't really matter. We're not gonna impact anything on a grand scheme of things. So a lot of philosophers have got to that point, and from there you have two options. Say, well, nothing really matters, so whatever, mate. Fuck it. I'm just gonna do whatever I wanna do. I'm just gonna be happy. That's all the hippies, pretty much. Okay, a lot of people have decided to do that. They're just, I don't care. You only live once. Wee hee hoo hoo ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? A lot of people act this way even without believing this, which is, where is your religion now if you live this way? If you're too focused on pleasure, where's your religious belief? Pleasure is not going to get you any closer to where you want to get to. Okay? So I don't know. I'm just asking the question. ignore religion. We're talking about philosophy now. So option one is you understand the fact that nothing really matters, and because of that you decide, well, whatever, nothing matters, let me just live my life and be happy for myself and whatever. Yeah, just do me. Woohoo. Gay. And the other option is say, listen, nothing matters in the grand scheme of things, but while I'm here, I'm just gonna, I've understood this. But since I'm not the center of the universe, why not do my best to make sure that I contribute towards society and be a force for good in the world? Why not do that? Why not contribute to society positively while I'm here? Okay, I know anyway, like I don't really matter. We're all gonna die eventually. But while I'm here, let me just like be a force for good in the universe. Pull my weight, Why not? That's somewhat of a positive mindset. Okay, so we're getting somewhere now. That's some sort. This is, if you think about it, that's the mindset of the strong person. The weak person would go, I just want to be happy, blah blah blah. Me, 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 me. That's very egocentric. Me, 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 I want to be happy, me, me. The strong person can go, I understand. Can get over yourself. Yeah. Let me just try and do something good anyway while I'm here. Not going to be here for a long time. Let me try and make sure that I do good. Yeah. That what I leave behind is better than what I found when I came here. Yeah. Let me just try and do that. And maybe, just maybe, there is that 1% chance, not even 1%, 0.01% chance that if everyone tries to do good and be a force for good and help humanity progress, move forward, become better in any area of life that you might be in, whether you're a doctor or you're an athlete, regardless, if you do your best and you put your best foot forward, humanity continues progressing. We start expanding, we go to this planet, to that planet, science keeps progressing. Why? Because we get good scientists, because they live in a good society, good scientists, innovation. Maybe we exit the Milky Way or whatever, our solar system. We keep expanding. We start increasing the likelihood of our survival for a longer period of time. Maybe somewhere further down the line, 5 million years from now, we evolve so much that we actually find a better answer than what I have now. That sounds good to me. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. To be honest, it's even good enough for me knowing that, let's say, no one is going to exist in 5,000 years. Okay? But what's good enough for me is if we disappear in 5,000 years, I want the last people at the end of these 5,000 years to know what I've done. Or at least I'm going to try and do something like that. The same way I know about the Spartans and I'm inspired by the Spartans example, their bravery, courage, how principled they were, their loyalty. Their example inspired millions of people to be better, to do better. I want to do the same to whatever scale I can. The bigger, the better. If possible, I'm going to be happy with this. If my name is is remembered for something positive, that's good. Imagine if everyone had this sort of mindset. I think everything would be better now. Think about it. So this is the two routes. Now, if you ask me personally, I am not brief and again personal anecdote. What do I believe? I can't say I'm religious. I cannot. When I look within, and I'm really honest, cold objectivity, I cannot believe that there is something after you die. I haven't seen, show me the evidence, and I can say, okay, if I haven't seen the evidence, because there is no evidence, I cannot believe it. And it doesn't make sense to me. So I can't really say that I'm religious. Am I a materialist? Probably yes, to a certain extent. Probably yes, but to a certain extent. I wouldn't say I'm a hard materialist. I think there might be something a bit more, but I'm not sure. The evidence is on the side of materialism. That's really tough now. Only very few people, probably no one that listens to this is gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. But we've talked about this before. I've discussed materialism, dualism, and idealism. You can go back and see where. I'm not sure what podcast, but it's tough. I'm not gonna explain it again. If anyone wants me to explain, I will, but ask the question. Ask me the question, and then I'll go, okay, you know what? Last time I said this and this, so now I'll explain now. So, I'm not really religious. I don't believe, because I haven't seen the evidence. I have to see something to believe the evidence. So, I'm more on the other side. Like, still gonna do my best. Like, if you look at my life, I live a very, very religious life. Although I don't really have that religious belief in the afterlife, or that there is some sort of a force that exists that put us here. I think this is a bit too, I just cannot get over the fact that it's a bit, feels like it's a bit egocentrical. Just the story. Take away the lessons. Like, I understand the lessons are that there's some great wisdom. There's great wisdom in all these religious texts. Have I read them? Yes. Are they some of the best ever? Yes. Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, the Quran, the Bible is some of the smartest things ever said. That they in there? Yeah, definitely. Has the story been watered down to be accessible to most people? Yeah, of course. But still, I think it's a bit arrogant thinking that we can understand all this and that it would be given to us so simply. Like, I don't know, sounds a bit too much of a fairy tale. But anyway, as I said, I need to underline the fact that if you look at my life is more religious than 99.9% of all people that claim to be religious. The way I live my life, what I do on day to day. You can come at me and say, oh, but you don't pray. I don't need to pray, okay? The books that I read, what is a prayer for? It's a time for yourself to think, it's almost like a meditation as well. I do loads of that, don't worry about that. So, we've discussed both sides. The next angle that we can take is, and that we need to think about, now that we've discussed all this, let's go with the story. Let's go with my point of view, all right? Because if you're religious, it is what it is. You believe what you believe. Why? Now that's a different story. I don't know. That's something for you to think about. So, but how I see things, maybe we exist for a long enough time to understand why we're here, maybe not. My general point of view is the meaning of life. It used to be about survival. Back in the day, or you have to be nice and sharp. You need to make sure, because people used to live in a really dangerous environment. You had to make sure that you've done everything to ensure that your family is going to survive and your genes are going to continue, live on, and you're going to reproduce, and your children are going to survive and reproduce as well, and so on. There's many philosophical angles on this that we don't need to get into at the moment. We can, though, if anyone wants to. That was in the past. Nowadays, survival is a given, pretty much, for the majority of people. Survival is a given. So now we don't need to fight for survival anymore. So what now? That's the question. That's why we even ask, what's the meaning of life? Well, because we're not really thinking about survival. If you lived 10,000 years ago, you'd be, I don't have time to think what the meaning of life is. I need to fight this saber-toothed tiger, because otherwise he's going to eat my children. All right? So now it's a bit different. Now we've got time. Let me think. So my point of view is what? Pick something, whatever you pick. We discussed it earlier. Find something to do. Be a net positive in the world. Be a force for good. Be the best version of yourself and do the best you can do in whatever you're doing. It's like, it's a responsibility. There is no two ways about it, the way I see it. It's like, you have to do it. You have to. That's why you're here. That's your duty. Otherwise, you're just wasting air, pretty much. You need to have this sort of intensity. I'm here to do something. I'm here for a reason. Listen, you only have this much time. How many years do you have? 80? 90? 100 years? What are you going to do in these 100 years? That's it. Because once it's done, it's done. What do you want to do in these 100 years or 80 years? You need to have intensity. Otherwise, you're going to end up not doing anything. You end up not doing anything, and you want to be part of that first group of people that are like, yeah, whatever, I just want to be happy and be me. If you want to, then okay, but I just don't see the value in, like, yeah, what did you do for everyone else? Or what you just okay, everything revolved around you. Well done. Very good of you. Nice. I bet if everyone is like you, the world is going to be an amazing place. Do you want to be a part of that group of people? Because there is loads of them. There's very few people that can go, listen, I have an obligation to do this and this and this in my life, and I have to do it because I've decided that I want to be a force for good. When I die, I'm on my dying bed. It's my final 5 breaths, and I can say, I did my best to leave everything better than what I found. Imagine thinking this, and you can go in peace, and people can remember you for the goods that you did. But not just your family. Your family is going to remember you anyway. How many other people are going to remember you? That's the question. But then again, as you're doing this, as you're on this quest to make the best out of your years on this planet, the way I do it is I have my principles that I'm not gonna compromise my principles just to achieve something that other people think is great. If I have to lie, cheat, and steal to get to where I need to get to, I'm not doing it. Well, you're not going to be successful. I don't care. I have my principles. Okay. I want to make money so I can help children. I'm not selling drugs to do that. No, I'm ruining people's lives. I'm contributing to everything that's wrong with society. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. And I'm not. So what that you gave, you made loads of money selling drugs, for example. I don't know why I keep saying this. Whatever other scheme it is. Oh, you gave it away. Oh, wow. How many people did you scam? What about their lives? Oh, but they're going to be okay. You're scamming people. So anything you do within that framework, good. Anything that I'm going to achieve within together with my principles without compromising them. The idea that you're gonna have to have money, that's false. No, I don't believe this. I don't have a reason to believe this, unless you're a politician, because then you're playing the game of power, and the game of power is the game of power. You either have it or you don't. So there is no room for principles there, because principles are gonna kill you, and someone worse than you might come and take your place. So stay away from politics. Politics, if I had a magic wand, I could fix it, I would. Because that's where everything is rotten. And why is it rotten? Because people's principles don't hold up. They don't hold up. They just don't. Essentially, on an individual level, that's what we're talking about. But yeah, force for good. Think about it. My closing statement. It's not gonna be 5 words. It's gonna be like a good paragraph. Think about it. You're gonna be reborn. You this, you that. That's not the end. You believe in this and in that. You go to heaven after. For how long? Think about eternal life. If you are religious or whatever. If you think that, oh no, I cannot accept the idea that there is just this one life and that's it. Okay, think about the opposite. Think about living forever. What are you gonna do if you live forever? Why does anything matter if you live forever? Why? Well, I didn't become a football player. So what? I only have an eternity to do so. You know? Well, why does anything matter? It doesn't. Why? Because you have infinite attempts. You have infinite attempts at anything. So think about this. Even if it's, I'm not sure exactly how the religious texts address this. I don't know. What, you go to heaven and then what? You spend eternity there? eternity. So what, in that period of time, which is infinitely longer than your time on earth, what happens in that? I just don't. Maybe it's beyond my comprehension. But yeah, eternal life is equally as bad. It's worse, actually. It's worse. It's a gift that this life is finite. It's only so long, and you have the amazing opportunity of doing something with it while it lasts, and actually appreciating it while it lasts, appreciating everything you do, appreciating every day. Just look around, you know. I don't know what you're doing, or just and you know, enjoy the fact that you exist. You know, the odds. What are the odds? They're impossibly slim, the odds of us existing. Just think about how insane it is that you actually have the opportunity. Think about the universe. You have the opportunity to experience anything. The fact that you are able to just have any experience of this reality is insane. That's a miracle. A miracle. Now someone's, oh yeah, that's God. That's God. Come on, calm down, okay? But the fact that you are experiencing reality is insane. If you think about it in more sort of physics terms, there is a nice way of putting it. I don't know what physicists said it. You are literally the universe experiencing itself. Or if you want to call the universe God, go ahead. You're God experiencing itself. Because you're part of the universe. If God is all encompassing, all knowing, and all that, you're part of God. If God is one, you're a part of it. So you're experiencing whatever you call that thing, that one, the oneness, whatever that is for you. You're a part of it that has managed to experience the whole. Think about this. Think about how special this is. And then think, why would you ever be sad? That's why I'm unable to be sad, because I've read so many texts about physics and all this. I understand all these things. I don't see a reason to be sad. Like, the worst thing happens to me, like, okay. Like, at the end of the day, we're all gonna go at some point, so I don't see too many reasons to be sad. Being sad is just gonna make it more difficult for me to get to where I wanted to get to. So it's natural, but understanding all that softens every next blow that you're gonna get. But for that's why you read books. You think that I just came up with these conclusions just by myself, just by sitting in my chair? No, I read a million books. I read like 15 physics books. That's like one. There's Stephen Hawking, this one. The Universe in a Nutshell, I think this one is. Yeah. Brief History of Time. I've read so many physics books. That's the thing that calms you down the most. It puts you right in your place. Okay, so you realize, oh, wait. My ego is a little bit out of place. And not just mine, like overall ours as humans. So you just realize, oh, let me calm down. I'm being a bit dramatic here. It's not that bad. Because I understand. I'm experiencing something that very few beings are ever gonna experience. The fact that we've got that we're conscious, that you've got consciousness, that you have the ability to experience reality is one of the most. Just think about our own planet. There's many living organisms. There's animals and everything. What percentage is humans of all the living beings on this planet? What percentage are we? I don't know. Not even half. We're far, far off of how. I don't know. Tiny percentage. And only we have the ability to experience reality. And to consciously experience reality. Can you imagine? Just think about this next time you're sad. Just think about it. Hey, I'm very sad, I'm broken. But it's just, that's only gonna happen once. Like this, that whole thing. So maybe I shouldn't be that sad. It's bad, but come on. Let's look on the bright side. So yeah, that's it. We've executed our plan. I'm done now. I need to go to the cinema and experience a movie. So yeah, thanks for watching, listening, and whatever else. And if you have any questions, because if you got to the end, then you're mildly entertained. So if you have any questions, any questions, just send me questions, because it's better when I have questions. Otherwise, I just need to kind of, go into topics that I decide to go into. It's a bit more fun for me when there's questions. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, listening, and I'll be back next week.